Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Blair Lamb. I make videos about all the different parts of my life. Today we're going to talk about physical fitness, exercise, and specifically joining a gym and belonging to a gym. So a little bit of my backstory is that my very first job was working in the childcare department at a gym. And so that was throughout my high school years. And what parents would do would be they would bring in their children, they would drop them off to me, and me and some of my other coworkers would watch the kids for a couple of hours while the parents would go and do their workouts. And with that job, I got a free gym membership. So that was around age 15 or 16. And so starting from that age, I would work my shift, which was usually like 4 to 8 p.m. And then I would stay at the gym and work out for another hour or 90 minutes. And that was a part of like my almost daily routine. And then that continued on. And then there have definitely been times where I have gotten off of exercising, or it's been harder with little kids or medical stuff going on, but I've always gotten back into it. And I'm currently in a season of life where I am working out between 3 and 5 days a week at a gym. And it's coming up on 2 years that I've been consistently doing that. And I'm really proud of myself because I have a lot on my plate, don't we all? I've got 2 little kids and lots of other plates that I keep spinning. And so being able to commit to myself in this way has been just a real point of pride. Like, I've worked really hard to do this. So if you're someone who is thinking about dipping your toe into regular exercise for the first time or again, and you're considering a gym membership, but there are parts of it that intimidate you, I'm here for you. That's what this video is for. I'm not going to be sharing like specific exercise routines. This is more holistically thinking about joining a gym, my kind of insight and some advice, kind of like a big sister type of role here of like, here's kind of what it's like joining a gym. Here are the pros, here are the cons. Make your choices based on what's going to work for you. So since that job when I was 15, I've probably belonged to between 5 and 10 gyms or so, probably a little bit closer to 5 than 10. But I've been a member of lots of different gyms over the years. And so I've seen big gyms, small gyms, corporate gyms that are chains, little tiny local gyms. Like, I've been a part of different types of environments. And so I think I have kind of perspective on that. And what I've reflected on in getting ready for this video is that even though I have been in and out of gyms for quite some time now, I still feel imposter syndrome and I feel awkward and uncomfortable. And I always feel just like a little bit unsure of myself when I start working out at a new gym, or if I've taken, an exercise hiatus for one reason or the other. So I just want to speak to all of that. If you're someone who has not been a regular exerciser for a while or ever, and you're just considering it, I just want to kind of like talk to you about that. I am realizing as I'm speaking that I forgot to put on my rings today. I'm still very happily married, but let me talk about gymming and being in the gym and whatnot. So I typed up like 3 pages of notes, and of course we didn't have any more white printer paper, so it's printed on blue. But the first point of conversation that I think is important to have here is just deciding if you even want a gym membership. There are so many ways to work out for free. You can go for a walk, you can go for a run, you can do squats, push-ups, sit-ups, all kinds of different things that are free or almost free. There are so many awesome workout videos on the internet that you can find that are free. And then there are paid programs. You can get a treadmill or a bike at home. There's so many options for not joining a gym. For me personally, let me share why I have joined a gym, because our garage that in our new home that we now live in, we moved in about a year ago, is large enough to where if we wanted to, we could set up a home gym. And actually my husband is majorly campaigning for that. So I would love that as a secondary option. But for me, I think I'm always going to be the type of person who really does better to get in the car and drive to the gym. It creates a boundary, and for whatever reason, I mentally do better. I like check out of my home life and into the gym, and I feel like it's just a better workout for me. There have been periods of time for different reasons where I have done all at-home workouts, and while that's an awesome option for so many people, it's never been quite right for me. I just feel like I get very distracted. I have 2 little kids, so I have to wake up either at the crack of dawn before they wake up, which they already wake up so early, or wait until they go to bed. There's just a lot of reasons why, for me, going into a separate gym facility makes more sense. Also, I really enjoy the social aspect. I've gotten to know and made friends with so many different people at my gym who work out the same days and times that I generally work out. And so we chat and we, connect, and there's a social aspect, a community aspect, and then there's an accountability aspect. Like if I am out because I've been sick or I've gone out of town, when I show back up, all my gym buddies will be like, "Where have you been? We haven't seen you." And all of that is just really good for me. It's just really good for me. But that doesn't mean that it will be the right thing for you. You might be an at-home workout person, and that's totally fine. So if you've never really gotten into exercise and you're not really sure whether you would prefer to work out at home or whether you would prefer to work out in it like a gym facility, I would say just try both. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute about kind of free trials at gyms and how you can access that. But just try working out at home and doing your thing, walking, whatever, and see if you are able to maintain it. If you can, great, you just saved yourself some money, and if not, welcome to the club. I am not good at working out at home. So if you've decided that you would like to get a gym membership for one reason or another, and you are trying to figure out which gym to try, there are so many different types of gyms. Even in the small town that I live in, I can count 5, there might be 6 or even more gym options and I live in a small town. So I know in bigger areas there are maybe dozens of different gym options, and that can be pretty overwhelming. Of course, you can talk to friends, family, coworkers, and kind of find out where other people who go to the gym go. But I will just say this. I have belonged to huge, giant gyms that have all kinds of amenities. I have belonged to medium-sized gyms and small gyms. I personally prefer medium or small gyms. They usually don't have as many amenities. Usually they're a bit more rustic. They are not as glossy and polished, but I find the atmosphere to be more relaxed, and that suits me because I just sometimes have a lot of nervous energy, and so it's nice for me to go into a place that just feels a bit more low-key. My mom, for example, who also loves to exercise, she belongs to a big gym that has so many different classes and different options in that way. There's a full-size Olympic swimming pool, there's saunas and massage, a smoothie bar, like all of those things. And that is such a great option. Some people really enjoy utilizing all of those. So you kind of have to know yourself and know whether you would rather be in a smaller, more laid back, less amenity kind of situation, or if you would rather be at a larger gym that might not have quite such a laid back feeling, but you are definitely going to have more options and amenities than you would at a smaller gym. The price differences are something to consider as well. Typically with more amenities, you're going to be paying a higher price, and then with less, you're going to be paying a lower price. So that's something to consider too. There are certainly pros and cons to each, and it depends on your personality and what you're looking for, as well as what's accessible and easy to you. You know, if you have a gym right down the street and it's really easy and you know you're going to go there, choose that over the one that's across town, because the one that's across town is going to be really easy to write off on a day when you've had a really long day, you don't really feel like driving, you're just going to think, I'm not driving across town to go, run and lift some weights. Ask me how I know. So choose something that's easily accessible, that's close to your place of work, that's close to home. Something like that is usually a good bet. If you're not 100% sold on a particular gym, it's a great idea to ask for a free trial. Every single gym I've ever encountered, even the gyms that I've just gone to for a few days while I've been on vacation, every one of them offers a free trial for precisely this reason. So you'll just need to call, or even sometimes it's just on their website, and just say, hey, I'm trying to find a new gym in the area. Do you guys offer a trial period or a guest pass or something like that? And they almost always do. And sometimes it'll be like 3 days, but more often than not, the trial period will be 1 week. So you'll get 7 days. So if you go and work out 2 or 3 times, you'll probably get a really good feel for the gym and find out whether it's kind of matching your vibe and if it's a place that you could see yourself regularly exercising. As I mentioned earlier, cost is always going to be a factor when you're deciding on which gym to go to. For me, I go to a very small local gym. There's just one. It's not a chain of any kind. There's just one of them, and I really, really love it. And I love the people there, and just like the feeling, like I said, it's very laid back. It is more rustic. It's not high end. It doesn't have a luxury feeling. That's not as important to me as feeling relaxed. So we all have different preferences. For me, paying each month for my gym membership is something that is just paying for me to be healthy, be in shape, and move my body, because I know myself and I know that if I don't belong to a gym, I'm not going to regularly work out as often as I would like. I will go on a walk here or there, I might like do a little home workout, but I'm really good at finding excuses, whereas having it feel like more of an appointment on my calendar where I go in multiple days a week and I go the same times has really been helpful for me. So every family is different and you have to decide whether it fits in your budget or not, but that's kind of the way that I view it, has always been like an investment into my health, because I know that I will never look back and regret the time that I've spent working out and taking care of my body. I've also noticed a steep decline in my anxiety and depression symptoms, which I've struggled with my whole adult life since I've been regularly working out. My sleep has been sounder, my energy has been much higher, just all of those good things that you hear about that come with exercise. I would honestly pay 5 times the monthly fee because I feel so much better when I'm working out regularly. So all the things that people say are true. I remember when I first started getting into working out again after my kids, I was like, this is annoying that everyone is correct in saying that you really do feel so much better when you're moving your body. But for me, it's definitely been true, and so it keeps me coming back. Okay, so let's say you've decided you are gonna get a gym membership, you choose a gym, you do a trial period, it goes well, you join that gym. And now this is when like the nerves might start to sink in if they didn't sink in when you were kind of doing more of a trial run. One thing I will say is that any gym I've ever belonged to or visited, like I said, on a trip or on vacation, they will always be able to give you a tour. Typically, it's just offered after you sign up, someone at the front desk, or they'll grab a trainer or some worker at the gym to walk you through the facility and explain to you where everything is and kind of the layout, and so that you just can kind of familiarize yourself with the new environment. If that is not automatically offered to you, just ask for it. The first time I went to the gym that I have been now attending, or going to for the past 2 years, I just said, hey, I belonged here a long time ago. I haven't been here in a while. Can you just walk me through? And a sweet woman behind the desk, she walked me through the whole weight room and talked about the different machines. Then we went to the group fitness room, the cardio room. She just kind of, even like the locker room, like we just kind of went through the whole thing, and that made me feel so much better and just more comfortable. So if that's not explicitly offered, just ask. Just think about if you were on the other side of the counter and someone came in and said, hey, I'm new to this gym, do you mind kind of showing me around? Of course you would be so willing to show them around, because when you're in a new place, you want to know the lay of the land. So that's something that I would highly recommend, is taking up the offer for a tour or just asking for one. Another thing to think about when you're first joining a gym is many gyms, most of the ones that I've ever been a part of, when you first join, they'll offer a free consultation where they'll do measurements, they'll take your weight, they'll take, some gyms, like especially the larger gyms, will have really cool technology and they'll scan your body for muscle mass, all those kinds of things. It's usually free, it's just included with onboarding at the gym. So it's something you can choose to take advantage of or not. If you don't want to do that with another person at the gym, I totally get it, but I highly recommend that you take your own photos of your body in, like a bikini or a bra and underwear, something like that, and take your own measurements. I don't think take your weight if you would like to, but for me personally, the scale has moved some, but my measurements have changed dramatically, and like seeing different parts of my body shrink or like my muscles get bigger and being able to track that with measurements has been so helpful in sustaining my motivation of continually showing up, because I know that what I'm doing is having a positive impact on my body. So whether you take up the free offer at the gym or not, I highly recommend that you get some measurements, take some pictures, a video of you, like whatever. Even if your goal for going to the gym is not weight loss or even toning, even if your goal is just to move your body and feel more energetic, I guess if that's the case, you don't really need to take any pictures, but I do think progress pictures can be very motivating, so something to consider. Now, if you've never been to a gym before, or if when you took your tour, you're realizing that you really don't know how to use the machines, especially in the weight room, most cardio rooms and cardio machines are pretty self-explanatory, and I think most of us, generally speaking, know how to use like a treadmill or an elliptical. But once you get into the weight room, that's where it can get dicey. Every gym's weight appliances, devices, equipment is the word I'm looking for. Everybody's equipment is different. And so even if you have a really good knowledge at one gym, you might come to a new one or move or whatever, and you're like, I don't know how to use this stuff. That was definitely the case for me when I came to this new, the gym that I've been at for a couple of years. I felt like a fish out of water in the weight room. But one of the things I really wanted to do was lift weights and lift heavy weights and learn how to properly weight lift. And so what I urge you to do, because I don't want you to get injured, is to consider hiring a personal trainer for even just 1, 2, or 3 sessions right when you start working out at your new gym. Sometimes they'll offer like a package deal or something for newbies, because it is so important that you learn how to properly lift weights so that you don't injure yourself. You can really, really hurt yourself if you aren't doing it properly. And if you don't know how the machines work, it's just a good idea. So if you feel comfortable, great, just go ahead and, go forth and do your workouts. But if you're a little bit unsure, I think it's a really good idea to at least consider hiring a trainer. You don't always have to hire a trainer for a long period of time. You can sit down with him or her and say, listen, I'm new to the gym, I haven't exercised in a while, or I've never really had a regular exercise program. I'd like to hire you for 3 times over the course of the next month. I really would like for you to help me learn how to use all of the equipment properly, and I also would like for you to look at my form and help me understand what correct form is, and then maybe help me kind of come up with a routine. And I have seen so many trainers at the gym actually like writing out or typing up routines for people, and I'll see them work with, like, there's one woman I can think of off the top of my head, and she comes in at the beginning of every month and does like 1 session with the trainer, and then she has a printout that she carries and she uses that on a rotation throughout the rest of her month, and then the beginning of the next month she gets with the trainer. So it doesn't have to be 5 days a week for it to be beneficial. Just something to consider so you don't injure yourself, is to hire someone who is a professional. If this were me, which this was me a couple of years ago, I specifically, when I was inquiring, I said, listen, like, I'm really weak. I just went through back-to-back pregnancies and really hard births and really hard recoveries, and my body is really weak. I'm worried about injury. I have scoliosis, so I'm always a little bit worried about my back and injuring my back, and I don't feel like I know my way around the weight room. And so I'd like a more senior personal trainer who has been around, who knows. And so I hired a trainer, and I still work with her now. And so some workouts I'm with her now, and some workouts I'm on my own. But I have gotten such a great and valuable education from her. And so I just want to let you know that that is always an option if you're feeling like I felt, where you're just not sure even where to start. Another option that would be free is if you have a friend who is a workout girly who already goes to the gym. Even if she doesn't come to your gym, you could get her a guest pass, and she could come and help you and kind of show you around, show you the ropes, what she normally does, that kind of thing. I think sometimes we're just afraid to say that we don't know something, but it's okay. It's okay to just say, like, hey, I'm brand new at this, or it's been a while and I need help. And people are so happy to help, and then you won't get injured and you'll be able to work out safely and effectively. So once you've gotten over those first few visits and you've gotten a little more acclimated at the gym, maybe you have like a little flow, a little rhythm, a little routine, you have your favorite times of day to go, that kind of thing, that's when you'll start to get into a routine. So what most people do is they work out specific areas of their body on specific visits to the gym. So for example, one day they might do back or chest or arms or legs or core. Sometimes people do a combination, but if you hear people say like leg day or whatever, like today I worked out my back, that's what people are talking about, is they're basically isolating those muscle groups and primarily working on those muscles during that gym visit. Some people will do cardio with every gym visit to lift weights, and others will just do a warm up and then they'll mainly weight lift. Some people will come and they won't really weight lift and they'll just do a lot of cardio. So you kind of have to decide. I will say that my body toning up was a result specifically of weightlifting, and I have fallen in love with weightlifting and lifting heavy weights, and I like love it. And heavy weights for me are not like what you see on Instagram. I'm not a fitness influencer. I'm not even close, but I feel strong, and that has made such a difference and such an impact on my confidence both in the gym and out of the gym. If you're brand new, you may want to start looking at a routine that's maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I started out at 2 times a week and then went up to 3, and now, like I said, I'm between 3 and 5. It just depends on how busy my week is, but I'm very much like addicted to being at the gym, and those exercise endorphins are just so good. So I'm always trying to find a way to get in there, even if it's just for, 30 or 45 minutes. Most of the workouts that I do are about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes. So they're a bit longer. Usually I do 3 or 4 sets of 3 or 4 exercises each. So like between 9 and 12 total exercises, with each time going 3 rounds. I do a lot of HIIT style workouts, but then I also just do like really focused strength training, kind of all over the place. But I always warm up and cool down with walking. And walking is such a great tool in fitness if you are especially new, but it's just like, your body is just so built for walking. So I always go into the gym and walk for anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes. Not at a super fast pace, maybe at 3 or 3.5, and I'll just walk on the treadmill, just get my body warmed up. I usually wear like a sweatshirt over my workout tank to like physically, truly, and literally warm up. And then I'll take that off and I'll go drink my pre-workout, and then I'll get into the weight room. So we can talk about pre-workout here in a minute, but I love taking a pre-workout. It makes a huge difference. Gives me such a swift kick in the pants to like actually like work super hard, even if I'm tired. So there's that. But what I was trying to stay a little bit more on task is, if you can commit to working out twice a week at your new gym, or maybe 3 times a week, and there are so many amazing free routines online. If you search like new beginner gym routine, or work out 2 times a week or 3 times a week gym routine, and like you will find so much, so like more information than you could ever want. There are apps, there are free and paid apps, there are just lots of options. And then of course, if you worked with a friend or a trainer, you could also develop a more individualized and personalized plan that would work best for you. There's definitely some trial and error that comes along with exercise. There are some exercises that aren't going to work for you for one reason or the other, or that you just don't really love, and sometimes it's good to still do them, and sometimes it's great to find an alternative. So be aware that flexibility is a good thing here. It's okay. You know, when you're first starting anything in life, you're gonna have to have some trial and error to see what works best for you, because we are all so individual and our bodies are all so different one to the next. My second to last section here is gym etiquette. So as with most things in life, there are specific common courtesies that are kind of like known in the gym world that you may or may not know if you're new to a gym. Now, I would say that everything boils down to just generally being aware that you're not the only person using the gym, and just common courtesy. But there are some specific things that you just might not notice if you are working out really hard, if you've got your headphones in, you're kind of in the zone. So I'm just going to go over just some of them. If you mess any of these up, like, it's fine. I'm just kind of letting you know so that if you haven't been to the gym in a while or ever, these are kind of some things that from every gym I've ever been a part of, they kind of carry one to the next. So here we go, gym etiquette. I'm going to look at my list because it's going to be hard to remember off the top of my head. Okay, so one piece of gym etiquette is always re-racking your weights and putting away equipment. So like if you take out a Bosu ball or a mat, or if you put weights on a machine or weights on a bar, after you have finished the exercise that you are performing, you don't just leave the weights on there. You don't just leave the Bosu ball out. You put it back to its original position so that when the next person comes along, he or she can find that piece of equipment easily and it's done. Sort of going along with that, if you are a sweaty person, which many people are at the gym, you'll want to regularly wipe down the equipment after you use it. So if you lay down on a mat to do abs and there's sweat all over the mat, it's considered rude to just roll the mat back up and put it up. There's usually like spray bottles any gym I've ever seen, there's multiple spray bottles around with like rags draped over them. And those are specifically for you wiping down the equipment after you use the equipment. If you're not sweating a whole lot, I don't think that it's totally necessary, but if you're sweating, and especially if you get up and there's like droplets of your sweat on the seat of a piece of equipment or on a mat or something, it's definitely considered courteous to grab that spray bottle and wipe it up. I've seen some people at the gym who must just be like more sweaty people, you know, some people just sweat more than others, and they will grab a bottle of that spray disinfectant and they will carry it around the entire gym for their whole workout because they just spray down everything as they go, which is very courteous. Another piece of gym etiquette is that if you are working out at a particular machine and you are going to do, let's say, 3 sets of 12, so you're going to pull, let's say you're going to do a pull down, so you're going to pull down 12 times and then you're going to rest, and then you're going to do it again 12 times, and then you're going to rest, and then you're going to do it again 12 times. If the gym is not busy and you're kind of alone in the gym, no worries. But if the gym is busy, you want to make sure that you're conscientious if someone else is waiting to use that piece of equipment. And so what you'll do in that instance is you'll allow them to work in between sets. So you'll pull it down 12 times and then you'll get up and say, hey, feel free to work in, I still have 2 more sets. That person will sit down, they'll adjust the weight to their specification, they'll do their pull downs. Typically, they'll then reset it back to where you had it, but if not, then you'll sit down and do it, and you just are trading. You're just sharing. So I don't think a lot of people realize that that's like a commonplace etiquette. If you're doing your sets pretty quickly, that's fine. But if you're doing really hard sets and you're taking a good long rest in between each one, or this is a personal pet peeve, if you're going to get your phone out in between sets and like scroll and spend 5 or 6 minutes scrolling on your phone, you're kind of considered hogging that piece of equipment. So you can do whatever you want to do as long as you just kind of look around and make sure that no one else is waiting on that equipment. Just normal courtesy goes a long way in the gym. So like just today, I had been on a piece of equipment and I re-racked it, everything was fine, and I moved across the gym somewhere else. And then this guy was working out and he noticed that old piece of equipment that I'd been using was empty. And even though I had reset it, he still came over to me and said, hey, I just want to make sure you're done with the cable machine. And I said, yes, I am. Just common courtesy, just being careful and sure to not because some people get really upset if you accidentally cut them off in the middle of their flow of their workout. If you do that, you just say you're sorry and move on. We've all done it. But just kind of being aware of the fact that you're not the only one in the gym and that sometimes people do want to work in between sets and that sort of thing. Another piece of etiquette is being spatially aware. So if you're doing jumping jacks or squats or shuffles or something that maybe requires a little bit more square footage than sitting on a piece of equipment, just being sure that you're not right in someone's way. I see this a lot when people come in and they're doing, let's say, walking lunges, and they're just kind of walking into people and everyone's dodging them and they don't notice. They're just doing their walking lunges. And I do walking lunges all the time, and I really try, I'm sure I've gotten in people's way before, but I just really try to be aware of where I am and adjust my path of walking if there's a lot of people that are in that, row, so to speak. So again, it just goes back to just having your eyes and ears open and being aware of where people are and what they might be doing. You don't have to get it 100% perfect. It's just courtesy. You just kind of are aware. And really, I think people, the thing that that frustrates me the most and that I see frustrate others the most is when people sit down on a piece of machinery, on a piece of equipment, and they get on their phone. And so they're not only hogging that piece of equipment, but they're scrolling on their phone. They're not even exercising. And so that, I think, can be very frustrating. I typically put my water bottle and my phone, I turn on music and put my wireless headphones in and then put that all away. And I don't even have my phone with me when I'm working out because it's just one more thing to move around. I find it very distracting. I see a lot of people do that, but then I also see a lot of people who like to carry their phone around, which is totally fine. Just don't hog a piece of equipment while you're on your phone. There's more, but a couple other just obvious pieces of etiquette to share. I keep saying pieces of etiquette, but I don't feel like that's the right term to use. Whatever, etiquette. I don't know, is don't slam weights. This is another one that people really don't like. Now, if you accidentally slam a weight, that's fine, but there are some people who go into the gym. I will say it's usually men, it's not usually women, and based on the demographics of this channel, I'm gonna guess most people watching this are women, but you just want to, like, again, conscientious, like slamming weights does not always go well. And also, the last one I'll share is just like not taking a phone call when you're in the middle of a workout in the middle of the weight room, because everybody can hear you and everyone's kind of like in their zone. People have their headphones in, everyone's like doing their thing. So yeah, it's nothing wild, and like, it's not like a secret society. It's just, one thing I will say that I didn't really like fully know is that when the gym is not very crowded, and so it's not like there's a bunch of people kind of like waiting in line for a piece of equipment, it is very common for people to take a towel that they've either brought or borrowed from the gym, like a sweat towel, to lay it over a piece of equipment if they're using it. So like if someone's doing, let's go back to the pull downs, if they're doing the pull downs and then they're going to go do another thing, they'll like lay that towel over to say that they're coming back to it. That doesn't mean that you can't use it. It's more about communicating with that person and saying like, hey, do you mind if I work in my set? And people are always fine with that in my experience. Okay, so just sort of wrapping this up in like a more neat bow. Everyone went to the gym for the first time at some point, and I feel like even though I personally have felt uncomfortable or like imposter syndrome or nervous or whatever, ultimately it's just a bunch of people just trying to be healthy. Like people are just trying to move their bodies. It's not a fashion show. I mean, I guess for some people it is. For 99% of people, it's not a fashion show. It's not a show off your body moment. It's just like people want to clear their heads and work out and feel physically fit and well. And so you don't have to overthink it. You can go in and do your thing. Whatever you do is going to be great. And people are so wrapped up in their own heads, in their own workouts, they aren't even going to notice what you are or are not doing, whether you're lifting heavy weights or whether you're lifting light weights. Like, there will be no notice of any of that. I promise you. After I wrote my outline for this video, I shared on my Instagram subscribers that I was going to put together a video like this, and if there was any specific question or topic that they felt that I should not miss. So I'm going to go through a few of those here because these might be kind of common things that people are wondering or asking about. And then we'll wrap up this video, and then in the comments we can have a great conversation of people who are newer or considering joining a gym and people who have been around and been at the gym, and we can kind of just like all encourage each other, because at the end of the day, like I said, everyone's just trying to be healthy and do our best. I had quite a few people ask me about motivation to be consistent, and this is such a hard one because motivation is just unreliable. Like, some mornings I wake up and I can't wait to go kill it at the gym and just like lift heavy weights and just like beast mode at the gym and like all that. And some mornings I feel like I am dragging myself in there and it is the last thing I feel like doing, but I'm just doing it anyway. So I don't rely on motivation. I just do it. I have removed all emotion from the decision. I work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That is what I do. I'm a person who works out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I get up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I put on the same, I have like 5 outfits that I rotate between, and I put on one of them. I put on my shoes. I grab my Stanley of water and a cup of pre-workout, and I go. And I do the exact same thing every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then sometimes Saturdays and Sundays. It has cut out so much like mental reeling for me to just be like, this is what I do. I don't think about it. I don't think about if I'm tired or not. Now, if I am tired, I'm not going to push my body to complete exhaustion. So if I'm feeling very tired, if I haven't gotten a good night's sleep, I will adjust my routine. Or if I'm working with my trainer that day, she will adjust my routine. So I'll lift lighter weights. I might do less difficult exercises. Like, yes, there is definitely an adjustment based on energy, but overall, there's no like magic formula for motivation. The magic formula is just put on your clothes and show up at the gym, and you will end up working out because you're there, and then you'll feel so good and you will never regret it. Someone asked about warm up and cool down. I think I already mentioned this, but I just walk. That's what I always do, and it works really well for me. And it's a part of that routine. I don't have to think about it. I walk into the gym, I immediately get on the treadmill and I walk for a while, and then I do my workout. It's just what I do every time. And then usually like once or twice a week, if I can swing it, I'll try to just go in and do like more heavy cardio. Like I'll spin for 30 or 45 minutes or something like that. And then the last question I have gotten a few times is about pre-workout. So there are different types of pre-workout. If you don't know, pre-workout is usually in a powdered form, but sometimes it's already mixed like in a liquid. And you take it, you drink it and consume it like right as you're starting your workout. And the idea is that it gives you an extra kick. So that can be through just like vitamins and like amino acids and stuff or something. But the kind that I take is highly caffeinated. So the one that I take has 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is a lot of caffeine. And so I do my warm up, I drink my pre-workout, and then I get going. And it usually kicks in for me in about 10 minutes. And it gives you like a workout, like, I don't want to say buzz because that's probably not the right word, but it gives you this like feeling of energy and like you feel like you like want to move your body. It's very helpful for me. That was like such a missing piece for me before I used a pre-workout. When I would have really long nights with my kids or I wasn't sleeping well, I would get to the gym and I like could not seem to kick it into gear. But I've been using my pre-workout and it like really does work. So I will link the one that I like below. It's the Alani Nu one. That's my favorite one. But you could try a different one, of course, as well if you wanted one without caffeine or whatever. But I find that that works really well. And then the only other question that I saw a few times was just like, how do you get started? And hopefully I have addressed that by this point in the video of considering how you want to get started. There are so many options for exercise in this day and age. I mean, you can do like Pilates and bar class. There's even like pole fitness classes and things like that. You can do like a boot camp style, or you can do like more of a traditional gym, and some gyms offer all those different things in the mix as well. So you have to really decide what is going to work for you, and don't be afraid to try different things until you find something that really suits you, because you are worth it. Like your body is worth taking care of and moving and feeling that energy and that mental clarity. And I'm such a proponent of regular exercise, especially for moms. It doesn't have to be like hardcore exercise, but just regular movement, because I, in my own life, have found it to be just profoundly helpful in managing stress, mental health, sleep. Every part of my life has been better because I started exercising. So like I said, we can have a conversation in the comments. I would love to hear if you are someone who's considering getting into the gym, kind of what your thoughts are. And if you're someone who's been in the gym, let me know about your journey. Would love to hear that too. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll talk soon.